There we go. Video is starting. Welcome, Kay Peiser. Peiser. Whenever you're ready.
All right, so I'm Kay Peiser, and I have Kaylens, standard poodles and Chinese Cresteds for the most part. Today we're doing Chinese Crested. This is English champion Vanatonia Unwrapped, commonly known as Nora. This is one of the dogs that I fell in love with after I had just started in the breed. She's a little bit much for people in the States, but for Europe, she was perfect, and for England, she is the top winning Chinese Crested in the history of England, and she was #1 dog all breed in 2010. She's 11 and a half years old. But she has been an amazing contribution so far. I mean, besides being a bed buddy, in that we have her daughter, who is sired by multiple Best in Show champion Kaylen's Kahlua. And we reduced the size. Get Puzzle out next. We reduced the size, kept the type. Doll. She is an English and American champion and was winner's bitch at our national about 4 years ago. Much smaller, beautiful type. Like her mother,
A little louder.
I would like her to be a little longer bodied. To me, she's a little bit compact, but she's maintained the type of her mother. And then we took her, just to give you an idea, I try and start, when I start something, I try and know where I'm going with it. And we bred her to General Kay Panda. And this one is the next piece of the puzzle, which is her name.
A little bit louder, they're asking.
Yep. Her name is Puzzle. She's a Kay daughter out of
Pick up this table.
Doll, the black bitch.
A little closer.
She's 5 months old.
Yeah.
And is everything that I was looking for when I've gone down 3 generations. She's a little worried about the camera.
Ooh.
Stop, Puzzle. Good girl. So when I started with Nora, I had an idea where I wanted to go.
Okay, a little louder, like you're showing.
I had an idea where I wanted to go, and this is basically getting me there. Beautiful puppy, beautiful face for a puppy that's teething, great dentition. And hopefully, as her father jumps off the table, hopefully as she grows, she will continue to add into the Kaylen's Chinese Cresteds. So I'll take Kay. So with all the rest of them, Kay, this is multiple Best in Show champion Kaylen's General Kay Panda, commonly known as the Beast around here, because he rules the roost. As far as I'm concerned, in the breed, he has beautiful balance. What we tend to lack in this breed is length of body and the angle of a rear. He has beautiful top line, beautiful balance. He is basically true hairless. He requires minimal grooming, which, now that I have one that requires a lot more, I regret not continuing to show him.
I put my volumes up.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And your buttons on?
He's 5 years old.
Everybody bear with us just one moment. She's outside, so Kay, would you do that one more time, just a little bit louder? Just talk about Kay, just go back over it. They're having a hard time hearing you because we're outside.
Sorry, usually with my big mouth we can hear everything.
There we go.
So I'll try again.
Perfect. That's perfect.
So Kay is a multiple Best in Show dog. He's 5 years old.
Perfect.
Sire of distinction. He's got 25 champion offspring out of about 32 born, which I consider an amazing accomplishment because this is not a breed that you can just say, I'm going to breed into that pedigree because it breeds true. It does not breed true in color or in type for the most part. He is a minimally hairless dog. The breed standard says 11 to 13 is recommended size on inches. He is almost 12 3/4 inches tall.
People can hear you now, which is perfect.
Kai, here. He has a pretty face, beautiful almond eye. He has a true hairless mouth. Kai, hey. Hello. He's a brat. Sorry.
He's got his mind on girls.
He rules the roost, so he kind of does what he wants. In the breed, it says the bites should be scissor or level. I didn't realize that it was changed that puff bites could be level as well, but that's what it says. He has a level bite, and for a true hairless dog, a decent number of teeth. What needs to be understood is generally the hair, bone, and teeth all are in the same gene. So frequently, when you have true hairless, you end up with not as many teeth or not as good a bite. So we're going to go to one of his daughters. Viv, please. As a breeder, you try and do everything you can. And you do everything as you can to get better with each generation. To me, this is his daughter. She's, I would say, 19 months old. And to give everybody an idea, I did not breed this bitch. I wish that I could say I did, but I wouldn't trade her for anything. And she is beautiful balance.
Okay. Could you flip her mane over so we could see her shoulder? There. Beautiful.
Beautiful balance. She's more coat than he has, so she has more body hair, which you don't see because she's groomed. Beautiful top line. Viv. The expression, although some of them don't want to give expression on the table, luckily she's not one of them. Viv, watch. Watch. This is everything that I strive for as a breeder. Beautiful ear. The ear can be rounder or more pointed. It should come, the corner of the ear, the corner of the eye should be on the same level. You do not want them to have a Doberman ear up here.
Can you show the corner of the eye and ear one more time? I just got a better angle for you.
How about if we move the hair, and you can show where the corner of the ear should be even with the corner of the eye. Now that doesn't mean the ears have to be all the way up here. They can be here and be just as correct. On the mouth, the same thing. Scissors or level. She's scissors bite. Lots of teeth. Step. Step.
Somebody asked what her registered name was?
Grand Champion Kaylen's Vivid Imagination from My Angel Crystal.
Thank you, Samantha Carter.
But in trying to have a breeding program, this is what I strive for. Height-wise, she's the same height as her father, almost 12 3/4 inches, as we've been measuring. And type-wise, I love the body length and the amount of body, and she's not mature yet. Stand. No chickens.
Is that the proper place to hold their tail when you're stacking them?
You can, some people hold their tails up, some people leave them down. The breed standard says tail is down when at rest. So everybody has a different idea. And they're slipping on the towel a little bit. Some people want to do this. They should carry it anywhere from here to here, and it should go down when they're at rest. Should be semi like a sickle, and it's supposed to reach the hock, which most of them, hers almost does.
Beautiful.
All right. We have the puff dog. Sorry.
You're good.
Just have to switch out. No, the pup dog. Come here, you. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to get some
Entertainment.
yeah, intermission music.
Okay. So this, since we're going on generations, is a young pup dog. He's about 10 months old. And his name is Captain America. His father is a dog called Sassy Tails I Go Commando. And his mother is a Kai daughter by the name of Rihanna. So in a puff coat, you want it to be double coated, but it should not be heavy, nor should it be curly or wavy. This, with all of our rain we had this morning, actually looks pretty good. You can see that he has a top coat, and you can also see that he has undercoat. And if you look, you can see that he's not staying black, and he's going to end up silver, because his coat is changing as he decides to lay down and be very helpful.
Can you show the top coat again?
The top coat, it should be like a veil. You should be able to see through the top coat. So you can see that the top coat guard hairs are a little heavier, and then the undercoat is softer. And it should not, the coat should be of moderate length. Should not drag the ground. Sorry, Lois. I shaved down the one you had that long. But he is 10 months old. Beautiful size, make, and shape. If you could see it, which you can't, but you can see from my hands, his shoulder angle is amazing. I do not have a preference on puff or hairless, contrary to some people's popular opinions. But his shoulder angle is here, and his upper arm angle is here. So he's beautifully angled. Like I say, much harder to see because he's a puff. And his rear the same way. You can see the angle here on his rear. Nice straight hocks.
Do they shed the puffs?
They're supposed to be hypoallergenic. They do blow puppy coat and change coat, but they don't generally shed on a regular basis.
Do most change color?
Most Chinese Cresteds change color. Whatever color they're born is not the color they will end up. They could be born solid white and be solid black by the time they grow up. They can fill in. Some stay black, some do not. Puffs have full dentition. Full here, here, and the little tiny P1 that you can see there. Mm-hmm. Same thing on the other side, full dentition.
Could you please talk more about the coat length and puffs?
Well, the coat length, every dog grows coat differently, like every person grows coat differently. Everybody has hair to different lengths. Arvine has none. I have too much. His coat is this length because he's 10 months old. I prefer, my personal preference, as this is my webinar, my personal preference is for their coat length to be approximately here. Some will grow it this length and never grow it any longer. Some will grow all the way to the ground. Being as the breed standard says, coat is of moderate length, I think they should be presented with a coat of moderate length.
Would you weigh more on the quality and the texture?
Obviously.
Okay.
Quality and texture is much more important than length. They can be shorter or longer as long as they have a good quality coat.
And the face is shaved?
The face can be shaved or can be left natural. His face is shaved, as are his ears. And ears can be shaved all the way to the base. He's done a few videos
he says
this week.
grooming time.
So ears can be shaved all the way to the base, or they can be shaved just on the tip.
Okay.
So that's all preference, and face can be shaved or left long, and you can shave just the face here. The breed standard says face may be shaved. It does not give any specifications as to the amount of shaving. I shave according to what each dog's head is. This dog has a very clean, This dog has a very clean head, and so if he didn't have a clean head, I would probably stop him right behind his eye. But this, I've got him shaved back further because his head is so clean and pretty.
Fantastic. Next.
All right. So let's have one of the shaved down pups. Okay. So this is Scarlet. Scarlet was the #2 Chinese Crested last year. Obviously, she had hair last year. Now, she does not have hair, and she is a pet, which she was originally anyway. She is, contrary to what people said when she was in the ring, she is not big. She's barely 12 inches. She has beautiful coat. Her quality of coat is amazing. She is a very, in my opinion, toy-type bitch. I bought her from the Czech Republic to incorporate into my breeding program. She's beautiful fronted. You can see how wonderful her upper arm is. Her shoulder is nice, not quite as nice as the black puff dog, but it's very, stop, up. Very doable here. But beautiful upper arm, beautiful angle of rear, fabulous coat, wonderful attitude, full dentition.
We get close to
Stop.
full dentition. Talk about her face.
Her face is a little more toy type because she's smaller. Watch. The breed standard calls for the length of muzzle to be equal to the length of back skull. For me, she's a little more toy type than I personally care for.
Can you explain why she's toy type? What makes it toy type?
A little wider in the back skull,
Okay.
a little shorter in muzzle.
Can you put, let me see profile. Okay, so that's the shorter in muzzle.
The breed standard says the head is wedge shaped when viewed from in front or the side. She has a wedge shaped head.
Okay.
Up. I would just,
Oh, that's one of the puppies.
somebody's paw is stuck. Can we get it unstuck?
Oh, there we
Alright.
go.
Yeah, of course. It would be bad child karma. I would prefer to have a little more length of muzzle and maybe just be a little bit cleaner here. But that being the case, because I bought her to incorporate into my breeding program, she has been bred to Kai, who
Okay.
has that beautiful length of face, a beautiful length of muzzle. She has wonderful attitude, wonderful carriage. And this is my idea of a cute pet trim.
Kay, how is her length of body compared to some of your other ones?
She's a little more square than is my preference.
Okay.
She is longer than she is tall, but I prefer a little more body length. You will find, I find in the puffs, they tend to be more square than the hairless. Most of the hairless tend to have more body length on an average for coat type than the puffs do. The puffs can tend to be more square.
And what color is she?
Cream.
She is cream.
She was orange when I got her. I'm not sure exactly what color, but she was orange.
Okay.
And I knew she would fade out because most of the time they do. They change colors all the time. But we love her, and we're very glad that she was allowed to come live with us. So,
Okay. Veterinario Palmas. This is actually Kay's porch on her house.
stay.
The kennel is in the background, but this is actually the front porch on her house. In Florida.
Okay, now this is another puff that's shaved down. She was also in the top 20 last year. She is a Kai daughter. She has a little more length of back. She has held her color beautifully. Stay. Elsa, stay. Watch. Cookie. Little more length of face. Elsa. She has a little bit bigger ears.
You might want to speak up more. Just keep speaking up.
She's 2.5 years old.
How tall is she? They're asking.
She is probably just at 13. We put her on the table with her father, and she's really close to the same size. She just happens to have a really long neck, so she always looked bigger.
And where are her withers, Kay?
Hers are straight.
Okay.
So that also with her long neck, makes her look taller. Here. Switch hands here. So, can I have the rubber band back from the pocket? Sorry, she likes her food. So her shoulder angle, Elsa, you're not being cooperative, is right here.
Gotcha.
which is decently laid back, but certainly not a 45.
Patty King Fernandez wants to know more about pigment. To talk
As
about
far as what
is pigment for the dog, for their colors. What is it required? What's acceptable?
they self-colored pigment. Black dog should have a black nose. If you have a brown dog, it can have brown pigment. The eye rims are according to the color of the dog. We'll address that in a minute with one of the other dogs. And any color that they are generally is not the color they're going to stay, unless sometimes they're born black. Like she was born black, and so far she has stayed black. She has not silvered out. Even on her head, she's still pretty black, so I'm going to assume she will stay black. But you can see that she has some lighter color on her face.
Can you show us the proportion of the wedge to this face?
Like this?
Yes.
Yes. She has a very clean face.
Okay.
Stop. You're not being cooperative. And then the same proportion. You should have, the muzzle length should be like the back, same as the back skull. So here's your length of back skull and your length of muzzle.
Puffs, please, are puffs and hairless judged separately?
No. Every now and then we have an open class division, but they are not a separate variety. Even though they don't look alike when you shave a puff down, which is why I brought shaved down puffs to this as well.
Now, my next question is, her hair texture looks different than the previous puff?
The previous puff has better hair.
This
one had decent hair, but it's not near as good as the other two.
Okay.
Elsa, pay attention.
Somebody just asked if puffs were hypoallergenic. Somebody said yes. Does this one have a lower ear set than the others?
I don't think it's lower. She has a bigger ear. She's still right at the corner of the eye. She has a bigger ear, and hers do not go as high up on their head. The cream puff is the same. Her ears are more out and less up. We used to say they had an English ear, which was the bigger, rounder ear, or an American ear, which was the smaller, more pointy ear. Now they just say the ears may be larger or smaller.
Lauren Bauer asked,
Elsa.
when you say clean in regards to face, can you please elaborate?
They're not supposed to be cheeky. They shouldn't have big, bulgy cheeks here. They should not come out, and this should be clean. How she's clean here, they shouldn't have big, bulgy cheeks.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if I had a bulgy cheeks. I don't think so.
Next.
Okay. Let's have, Mr. Mexico.
We're just switching dogs. Bear with us.
We have a few. Okay, stop. Antonello. Okay, so this is a new dog who's just recently arrived to address your issue on pigment. He came from Mexico. He's come to join our family here. He's
He's
a little
so
happy
excited.
to be here. He likes life. I'm so pleased for Carolina Cantorell to allow me to have her dogs. Anyway, he has a split face. So he has, Antonello, please pay attention. So he has one eye that has a little bit of mascara around it, but he still has a totally white face on that side.
Got it.
So his face is a little wedgier than the previous one. Here, I know. He says, but he hasn't got to do dog shows here, and he's very excited. But he's come to add into our breeding program. He's got a beautiful length of body. Stay. Sorry, he's a little happy.
You're very
Stay.
happy.
Yep, he says he came here and he's ready to get in the ring. So he has a beautiful length of body. He has quite a bit of body hair, which I'm hoping to eliminate some of with the Kai daughters. But he has wonderful mouth. Stop.
Somebody just asked, what should we look for in length of leg? Joyce, can you move this
I'm
table?
not sure what they mean by length of, but what they should look for.
Proportion, I think is what she means. Proportion of length of leg to body. Length of body, like some
To
say that.
depth of body?
Yeah, to depth, or some say they have too much leg, not enough leg.
This dog could have just a little bit less leg for me, but I brought him in because of the other attributes that he has. I would prefer that he actually had just a little bit deeper body or just a tiny bit less leg. but his body length is beautiful, his top line is beautiful, and I think that he'll be a great attribute.
Can we see his face?
Here. Say, Antonello, look. Sorry,
It's okay.
we need a brush. Here.
Now tell me about his ears.
He's got a much smaller ear than the other ones.
That's what we want to. That's what I was
Right.
asking.
His ear set is the same. You
Okay.
can see where the corner of his ear is to the
Yep.
corner of his eye, but he's got a much smaller, what we used to call just American ear.
Okay. Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, and some people prefer it. You know, I've got so much of the English stuff that I'm so used to big ears that I don't even think whether large or small. I
Okay.
prefer them not to be set on top of their head, which they're not supposed to be, and some people tape them that way.
So, what would you say about length of loin?
On this dog?
Oh, just length of loin in general. We can pull another dog out or this dog.
Well, length of loin, they're a longer back dog, so generally they have a little more length of loin than some of the dogs that are square, because you don't get your length of loin in your rib cage. I mean, your length of body in your rib cage. So what you do is you get it with the loin as well. He's wanting to be silly because he says we haven't done this since he's gotten here. Huh? Good boy.
Maureen Day, he is roaching his back because there's girls here. It levels out the minute he starts to relax. It levels itself out.
And as
There
soon
we
as
go.
I do this, he levels it out.
It
When
levels
I
it
try
out
and-
completely.
When I try and hold his tail, he puts it up. He's very excited because we have all of the dogs in a very small area right here.
Everybody's all together.
And we
Okay.
do have girls in season, including
Who's-
one that's been telling him she wants to visit. So,
Let's grab the baby puff.
okay. Puzzle again?
Yes, because now I can get closer.
Okay.
It's working better being closer with the...
Puzzle.
I'm kind of fond of this puppy. I saw her in the kennel and was like, who's that?
Okay, so this is Puzzle, and now that we're getting closer, Puzzle, watch. Here, Puzz. Look up. Why do you have to be uncooperative? She says, I do. Puzzle here.
Says there's a leash there.
Mm-hmm.
It's shiny.
She has a beautiful, beautiful face. Very clean. You do find the underjaw tends to be better, I think, most of the time in puffs. In hairless, especially when you get to true hairless, there frequently you end up with less underjaw. And some of it has to do with dentition, and some of it just has to do with the fact that they have less bone and they're more primitive looking than the other ones. Here. Watch. Good girl. This should be how she should carry her tail, which luckily she does. Some of them carry tails a little tight, some of them not so much.
Can you please put your fingers on her withers? Just because her color... Okay.
Yes, with her color, she's actually really pretty balanced. Beautiful fronted here.
Yes.
It's harder to see on a puff.
Well, her marking makes it look like they're set way back, and they're set really well, but not like the marking, so they have to really touch them. Good girl. Now, how is this coat at this age?
At this age, I like this coat a lot. It's double coated. You can see that if you drop it, you still have guard hairs. It's not curly, and it does not appear like it's going to be a heavy coat.
Is this still puppy coat? She hasn't transitioned, correct?
Correct. Usually they don't start going through coat change, most of mine, until they're about 10 months old. The black dog is going through coat change that we had out.
Yes, Kelly Neal, you get both puffs and hairless in one litter.
There were
How-
two puppies in this litter. One was puff, one was hairless.
How old is she?
She was born December 10th. 5 months?
5 months.
Today, 5 months. Put her over here. Can I have Itty? We'll go from one extreme to the other. Thank you. Okay, now this one, as opposed to being Arvine's favorite, is one of my favorites. Since I started in this breed, I have been trying to get less hair, less body hair, and beautiful type. This little bitch, we call her itty bitty because she's rather small right now. She is 5.5 months old. I love her balance and length. Not to mention the fact that her tail never stops moving. Stay. She's a little bit on the happy side. This has been an issue for me because I've wanted to keep her, and although she's small, if you get up close to her, Arvine, this is the hair she grows. This is what she was born with. This is what she grows.
She is really jiggly, everybody. But this is, if you can see,
we call her minimally hairless.
That is her. That is all the hair
that she grows. Period. So she requires very little grooming. She's like her grandfather in that aspect. Stop.
And just so everybody knows, when she says itty bitty, we measured her. We had a question. We measured her. She's actually 10 on the nose.
She just is very refined.
How long have you been breeding Chinese Cresteds, Kay?
17 years, I believe. And this one, because I have her grandmother, I have her mother, I have her father, I have her grandfather. I imported her grandmother from Russia. We'll bring her out next. And I did that because she was true hairless and had full dentition. Everyone said, why are you importing a true hairless bitch? Because she won't have any hair. I said, because she has full dentition and she's true hairless. So this is what I'm aiming for. Hopefully this bitch will get big enough. My issue as a breeder, she's a very toy type head. I would love her to have more muzzle length. And even though she's had full dentition as a baby, she's teething right now, she is undershot. Stop. So, up, stop. So, for now, she stays. We see what happens. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And because I love her balance, her shoulder angle, her front, even though she's not being overly cooperative. Beautiful top line, beautiful length of body. And her temperament is amazing. She's a Wonder Woman. She is. So we have spoiled her rotten, but right now this is what I'm aiming for. I would love her to be a little bigger and have a perfect bite, and then she would be just about exactly what I want. So right now, contrary to other people wanting her, she's not going anywhere. All right. I guess I can have the bad one. She is.
She's been very loud over here.
Okay. This is another Kai daughter. This is a repeat of a breeding I did 3 years ago.
Okay, before you go on, can you just, what are your views about all the puffs that are flat ironed and over trimmed?
Well, it depends on what you mean by over trimmed. I trim their feet, but I don't want them to have cocker feet when they're trimmed. Flat ironing, I iron all the coats just because it gives them a finished look. The coats that you've seen here, including the black dog, who gets shown all the time, if I put an iron on his coat, he would look like an amazingly different dog, and he has good hair. Okay. It's just a matter of finishing. It's like, do you put chalk on white feet if they don't have really white feet?
Fair enough.
It's a finishing look.
Okay. And then the next question was, should it be held against them if they are not shaved? I'm not sure if she means hairless, not shaved.
Well, the breed standard says that the breed comes in hairless or powder puff. So if you have a minimally hairless, like Itty, that has a little bit of hair on her back, I would not show her like that. I would take the hair off. Okay. Because it says hairless. So therefore, they should be hairless when they're shown.
Perfect.
We do have a lot of, unfortunately, because we've bred for beautiful furnishings, we've got a lot of dogs with more body hair. I don't think Kendall's going to help today. So with the dogs with more body hair, you obviously have to trim them more. So this is...
And the hairless is the same as puff. You don't have to shave their faces.
You do not have to shave their faces or their ears. In this country, most of the time the puff ears are shaved. In other countries, most of the ears are left unshaved, like Nora, the first one that I had out. Puffs and hairless are left with their ears long. Here, most of the time we shave ears, just because it's what we do. Sometimes we start out with them with, you know, ear fringe, and then Kai's growing his ear fringe back out since he's semi-retired. So this is Kendall. She's a beautiful puppy, but she's a bad child. So right now we're probably only going to get this kind of a look to her. We're going to try. I really like her a lot. She's beautiful. She's very refined. Beautiful top line. We're going to let her settle in instead of forcing the issue, because I find that she will settle in. It'll just take her a couple more months.
Do you find that taking your time training crested puppies is better?
Yes, because otherwise you can piss them off and then they're never a happy show dog. And I don't like machines. I like them to be a happy show dog even if they're not perfect. And obviously from the tails on these,
They're very happy.
This one, as they're teething, stop, Kendall, has a beautiful, beautiful feminine face. She says she's going to come kiss the
She
camera.
wants to kiss the camera.
Stop. Stop. And very good. Ah. And very good mouth.
Beautiful mouth.
Even though she's teething.
So the standard does not require for hairless to have side dentition.
It doesn't require for them to have any teeth.
Okay.
So they just have to have a scissors or a level bite. And sometimes different people have different opinions. I'm of the opinion I take very good care of the teeth so that all of my hairless will still have teeth when they're older. Some people say they're going to fall out anyway and they don't do as much care with them. And some dogs are like some people. They have better teeth than others. So Kendall's starting to settle a little bit, although
Now,
she still wants to see the camera.
Can you address her color?
I would call her mahogany, but in this, usually here, everybody calls it slate. Anything that's kind of an off color is slate.
Okay.
She's, you know, if they're a Duluth and they're a Palomino, this is more, they call her and her sister the same color, but I would call her more of a mahogany. And the more they're out in the sun, or actually even with the cream that we use on their skin, which happens to be Aveeno. Yes, I know, you can have it. Sorry. Maybe.
Terry Lucas wants to know, how do you feel about a balanced, large dog, maybe 14 to 15 inches? Do they do well in the show ring?
I have not seen anything over 14 inches really do well in the show ring. I would not throw out a 14-inch dog if it was beautiful. Kai's father is 14 1/4 inches tall. And he was American champion and a Brazilian champion. So when you put a little bit of cream on, you actually, the color always looks a little different. It does actually darken it up.
Oh, it does. It's a little bit redder.
Yeah, and that's just clear lotion that we put on, and that's what we tend to use for them, because you can't use anything with oil, it clogs the pores. Can somebody give me Karma, please? Thank you. Okay, now, this is my,
Can you stack her off Judge's side first?
yes.
So we can...
This is the sister to the one we just had. This is one of my favorites that I've ever bred, Steak. She has what I call the it factor. Her color is beautiful, again called slate, even though I would call her more sable. Beautiful balance, beautiful shoulder, beautiful top line. Color is amazing. Pretty face, pretty ears. Her ears set maybe could be a little bit higher as far as I'm concerned.
Now, Kay, is this mahogany as well?
I call her more sable, but I think she's registered as a mahogany or as a slate.
And she's going to go cream as she gets
I
older?
don't think so.
Okay.
She's pretty dark.
Yes, she
So
is.
I don't think she's, even if she creams out, she's going to have points. Now this one, all the people that have seen her as a baby and love her, her name is Karma.
She,
As Karma was growing up
oh, her
and got
body's-
to be about 5 weeks old,
God, her
and I'd
body.
already fallen totally in love with her. We all know puppies are born with blue eyes. Well, they generally change, except that Karma only had one change. The breed standard says eye color according to skin color. Her face is white. To me, I call the blue eye undesirable. Our breed standard does not address it. I would certainly not throw this baby out with the bathwater.
Can you move her mane so we can see her shoulder?
Stay.
I'm a little prejudiced because I've loved her since she was a baby, but her body is ridiculous.
Amazing.
Ridiculously good.
And then, even though she's teething, stay. Nobody wants their teeth shown while they're teething.
So, Kay, what would you do in this situation?
What would I do? I'm doing nothing. I'm showing her. She'll be my bred by bitch. I think she's absolutely amazing. If she didn't have a blue eye, she would be a special and be winning probably best in shows. Even with the blue eye, I think she'll do amazing in the world.
And has this happened before?
I have, in 17 years of breeding Chinese Cresteds, had one other puppy, and it had a half blue, half brown eye. Stop, I'm not feeding you, because you're bad. It had a half blue, half brown eye, but it was a pet puppy. So it was not this caliber.
So as a breeder, with your history and your pedigree, you're willing to take a chance,
Yes.
knowing what's behind her and what you have and what you've produced.
Well, I know where the blue eye comes from, the bloodline that it comes from, because they've had blue eyes there before. And I would hope that she's not going to produce it. Her mother, this is a repeat breeding. The first litter had 5 puppies, no blue eyes. Her mother has had 2 litters before this and never had produced a blue eye. And I'm willing to risk it for this quality of puppy.
Jan Po, she's not shorter back, she's rectangular.
No, she's not short backed at all.
I think it's the color and all the angles, but she's not
This
short back.
color right here.
Okay, will you lift up her mane
Yep,
off her
because-
shoulders
because
so they
this
can see the
dark color here
Yes.
is what makes her look
there.
long.
Now you can see.
Makes her look short.
Now you can see the proportion.
If I took that to the white,
See that?
and the fact
There you
that
go.
she has such beautiful angles of shoulder and upper arm, it makes a huge difference because it shortens her underline because
How-
of where her elbows are.
How old is she, Kay?
5.5 months.
5.
Born the end of November.
Fantastic. Do we have one more puppy girl?
No, we just have Jessie, the Russian bitch.
Oh.
Let me grab Jessie.
She's 5.5 months old. You're welcome, Jan Po. I'm seeing them in real time, so I'm like, what? But I realized what it was. Okay.
So this is a bitch that I bought from Russia. I happen to have dogs from the Czech Republic, from Russia, from England, and from Mexico. I bought her years back when she was 6 weeks old because she was true hairless. She does not have any interest in being a show dog, although she has 4 champion offspring. Stop, Jessie.
True hairless with the furnishings.
This is her. This is all she's ever had for hair. When I bought her, I was asked, why would I buy something that isn't going to have any hair? I said, well, I bought her because she doesn't have any hair and because she has
teeth. So
teeth.
many. How old is she now?
5.5.
5.5. And Kay, what does the standard say about feet?
They have a hair feet. They're supposed to have hair feet. So they,
You can see
they
them.
have
You can see them beautifully on
elongated
her.
toes. And because she doesn't have hair, you can see that she has hair feet. You cannot help with the filming. So if you could feel her skin, it's amazing. She has, she's a wonderful, wonderful dog, even though we didn't show her and finish her. She lost an eye due to an injury. But her structure is still good, even though she says she has no interest in being a show dog. You can see when she stands. Stop, Jessie. I know. Aha, the trick. Good. Okay.
Nancy, Kay would do this with poodles, but she doesn't have enough poodles here to do this with.
Right.
But she has plenty of Cresteds.
So in the true hairless,
Let me get close.
and anywhere that you go, the breed standard says that the crest stops between the back of the skull and the withers. So this is where hers stops, and this is what I am trying to accomplish in getting the same quality as the others with less hair. Stop. Stop. Sorry, I pulled her out of the house. She was laying on the couch.
And who is her mother? Who is her puppy?
Her granddaughter is itty bitty.
Okay.
We didn't bring her mother out because her mother is in season and it would not do well with the boys. Her mother's name is Chrissy and she was a champion at 7.5 months. Her daughter, itty
Right.
bitty's mother.
So the hairless gene is actually coming through.
Yes. So I bred this bitch to Kai, both minimally hairless, true hairless. The first 3 puppies born were white puffs. So you can imagine my surprise when the first 3 puppies born were white puffs. Then I got 2 black and white true hairless bitches. So I am going to repeat the breeding and try.
Oh, these puppies are being really bad.
I think they want to be in the film and not in the X-Pen.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
She got her mouth stuck, everybody. She's fine. They're trying to break out of the X-Pen and get free
They want here
to run
because
amok.
The cookies are here.
So with 2 equal hairless dogs, does the one with less hair win?
No. Usually the one with more hair wins. It's the way our American judging system is. If you have true hairless like this, and I took her in the ring against one of the others, say even Kennel, this one would lose.
But if you had 2 equally quality, same body, same everything, as a breeder, what would your preference be?
My preference would be less hair. That's why I have Kai, and that's why I'm aiming to get more like him. Literally, stop. I know I love you too, but you need to stop. As a breeder, to groom him and show him, even with shaving what little bit of hair he grows, and giving him a bath is 10 minutes. When I have to do the others, like his daughter, it's a 45-minute groom job. So my aim is to have beautiful dogs with less body hair that are still competitive to win and to continue to produce.
Apparently, the little scream session we had is causing chaos in everybody's houses who's watching with their dogs.
Sorry. Puzzle says she wanted another cookie, so she was trying to get out of the X-Pen, and now Karma's trying to escape from the X-Pen.
So, do we have anybody else?
No, I think we're good, unless we want
Okay.
to go over anybody, if somebody wants another one or a question and answer session. Can Jessie go back in the house?
Can we do, can you put Kai back on the table one more time?
Hi, Jessie's not seasoned. Come here.
Just because now that I'm standing up and closer.
And I
How-
can show you the difference too on skin with just a little bit of lotion.
How much exercise do they need a day?
They will take as much or as little as you give them. How much do they need depends on the dog.
And-
Mine run for about 4.5 hours a day.
What do you love about Cresteds?
Everything. They are so loyal. They, as opposed to some other breeds, they will transition from me to you and not ever blink an eye. But yet, when they are with you, they'll take on anything. Mine have no fear. They'll take on a Newfoundland. They'll take on, a Great Dane. They don't care. Stay.
Now, are there any specific health issues?
There are many health issues, mostly eyes. I have just started doing hips on OFA, only kind of quite by accident, because I did a puppy x-ray with a vet that did them on their back first to make sure the puppies could fit. And I looked at them and went, oh my God, they have beautiful hips. So I started doing hips, and he's OFA excellent hips. The biggest issue is eye issues. Most of them are DNA tested, primary lens luxation, PRCD. Every new test that comes out, I do on my stud dogs. Some people say, there's a new test for IVDD, and I've done all my stud dogs and they're clear. And some of the breeders say it's not an accurate test. Well, it might not be an accurate test yet, but at least my dogs are testing clear on the test so far.
Fantastic.
But we do SERFs and we do genetic testing. They can have von Willebrand's. They can be positive or carriers for von Willebrand's.
And this is puffs and hairless. It doesn't make a difference on the coat.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It's just the breed.
Do they swim?
They love to swim.
Yes.
They're fabulous swimmers.
In the ocean, anywhere.
Yeah, they will swim. I get pictures of them, they're great at dock diving. They love to swim. They're fabulous agility dogs. We had one that was in the agility championships at the Garden this year.
Do you find that hairless wins more than puffs?
Win more?
Win more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, my first Crested that started all of this whole mess, his name was Blancho's What's One More. We called him Spike, and he had 4 Group 1s and 2 all-breed best in shows. He is how I learned how to do a not-so-good coat, because he didn't have great hair, but he always looked like he had great hair. He was a wonderful show dog and a beautiful mover. I have to thank John and Debbie Caponetto with Blancho Cresteds, because that's where I got him from, and that's who started me in all this. And then I have also had other mentors in the breed, as well as Lee Cox and Tom Isherwood from Vanatonia.
Will you flip his? I just want to show
Yep,
his shoulder.
Sorry, he's eating a rubber band. So I've had people that have been in the breed way longer than I have that have been great mentors to me and in helping. I do find he is very prepotent for temperament, attitude, and movement. Other than that, you know, it's not a breed that breeds as true as some of the other breeds. I could breed a litter of standard poodles and I can have 10 puppies that look identical. And I know that I'm going to get 10 puppies that look identical.
And that's even with line breeding?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not, he's not old enough to have line bred a bunch of dogs to him. I have line bred to dogs behind him. He's only 5. And I am considering, this probably may not go over well with some people, I am considering doing a father-daughter breeding with him on one of his daughters.
Why wouldn't that go over well?
Because a lot of people don't believe in that, and I do.
Okay, I thought you meant like in the Chinese Crested community. You mean just in general?
In general, and the Chinese Crested community. I haven't done it in Cresteds. I've done half brother, half sister, which has turned out nice. Not necessarily what I would want. Not ideal.
Kind of like you're boring.
Yeah, he's always that way when it's right in his face, unless he has a cookie.
Would you use a carrier?
A carrier on what? I do have PLL carriers.
So it depends on what the.
I would just breed them to a clear.
Okay.
My black puff dog is a PLL carrier, but he's PRCD clear, and he's clear on everything else. And Antonello, which is the black and white Mexican dog, is a PLL carrier, but he's clear on everything else. All of my bitches are clear, so I have no issue in using a carrier male. I'll just test puppies to make sure that they get bred correctly when they get bred.
And what is their longevity?
Anywhere from 14 to 20 years.
That's forever.
Yes. Yes, we have one right now that is, I think he's 18 or 19. He belongs to my stepmother. And then we have a couple that are 14, 15.
Okay, so in closing, is there any advice you would give somebody new to Chinese Cresteds? Starting out, breeding, showing?
Well, you research the breed first. People contact me and they want a hairless, or they want one that looks like this. Well, we all want one that looks like this. We're not likely to get it. Itty Bitty, which is my basically true hairless puppy. If I get a true hairless puppy bitch, unless it's not a good one, it doesn't leave. That's what I'm trying to get. People don't realize when they get hairless that it doesn't mean that it's true hairless. If you don't know the breed, research, ask, question. If you want to show a dog that's more of a, what we call hairy hairless, it is not in the breed standard because they grow body coat, although they are not a puff. They will win more than most true hairless. Most true hairless do not have the bone or the top line of the hairy hairless. So you have to do your research first. Know if you want a puff. If you want a puff, research on how to do a coat unless you've had Afghans or another coated breed before that. And if you want hairless, make sure you know how to maintain their skin.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great day.